Good evening. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi. Welcome to the MNT News Network. And today is Sunday. Today is a special program on English. And we have invited for today's program to Mulnivasi M S Bahal sir, businessman and social thinker from London. Yeah. And today's topic is World Indigenous Day. Who are the indigenous people and what is their history? So on this topic, we have invited the eminent personality, M S Bahal sir. Bahal sir, welcome to MNT News Network. Jai Bhim, Jai Mulnivasi sir.
जय भीम जय मूल निवासी और जय संविधान I'm
Jai
very
Bhim.
happy. I'm glad that you have taken this very complex subject of indigenous people. And though I'm not a historian, but
Sir,
I will do my best to justify whatever the questions you pose for me.
thanks sir for coming to MNT News Network. Sir, from the last so many years, you are in the social front and were working in various parts of the world. And we are all inspired by seeing your profile. And uh, we are in touch with you from inception of Bombs of Days. And thank you for coming to MNT News Network. Sir, on this topic, first of all, on the occasion of World Indigenous Day, MNT News Network wishes all the indigenous people around the world. So, my first question, sir, uh, you have traveled most of the countries on various works, sir. So, what is your observation on indigenous people around the world? What are their problems and issues? Well, sir.
Um, the indigenous peoples exist in mainly where the whole problem have started is mainly America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. These are the big subcontinent or countries where the Western people has invaded them or traveled to them and then enslaved them, colonized them, whatever the terms you wanted to use, uh,
Sir.
and taken their land, taken over their all the resources. First, they started probably um, taking these resources back to their countries. Then they thought it is better to stay here and enslave them and rule them locally. So that's how this indigenous peoples has been derived from their land, from their resources, and kept them at the distance of the power. Um, One thing is good, I could say about the mostly the Europeans or the Britishers, uh, that they have kept their history alive. They taught them where they come from and when they come from, and they also taught them how when we came to say, let us take one country like USA, that when we came to USA, how we came to USA, how we fought with you, how we enslaved you, all the history was kept. And then also the history of all the blacks slaves they imported to develop, America into the modern country today. Uh, and this history have given them the one day reason to realize that it is our land, we are the natives, we are the indigenous people, and we need just more than a little piece of bread or water. We need a proper share in the politics, we need a proper share in the social structure, we need a proper share in the economic structure. So all these questions, when they educated the red Indians, we call them indigenous people of USA, they stood up it and then they start asking for many questions and also many powers. That's how uh, the indigenous peoples, and that trouble to all the countries. That the It troubled to the South America, North America, Canada. It troubled to Australia and New Zealand also. That they needed a proper share in the political structure, and that is how this Indigenous Day came about. Um, um, I think it was 1492 when Christopher Columbus, actually reached to the shores of America, and
Yes, sir.
then they started, he sent many information back, also went back and came up with the bigger force and more people. Sorry, and that is how. Um, but when the in 1465, uh, Abraham Lincoln set a mandate that we wanted to take a freedom from the Europeans, Britishers, um, and he said that's where the Declaration of uh, America came from. That he said, how long we can endure that half the peoples of this nation be free and half not the free, and that is started giving some of the rights to the slaves and some of the rights to the indigenous people. But when Ronald Reagan came, I think it was um, somewhere in um, 1990. He asked Spain to make a replica of the three major ships which Christopher Columbus sailed to America, so they can make a glorious day and celebrate Columbus Day and make their uh, his victory a celebration, so which they can celebrate each year. But a lot of by that time there is a lot of education, there is a lot of uh, social activists came up, and they started objecting it. Okay, how can you glorify a person who butchered a lot of our people, who taken all of our land, who has taken all of our right and resources? How can you celebrate it? And then this concept was dropped to celebrate Columbus Day. And I think with the consultation of many other people and also with the activists, they came around that we should celebrate Indigenous Day rather than Columbus Day. So we can know the culture of the indigenous people. We can know their language, their culture, their customs, their traditions, and their identity, and we can keep alive because there is a hundreds and hundreds of remedies, naturals, which they only knew. This was only known to the indigenous people, and the British peoples wanted to share it and also learn it to use back in their homes, those medicines, those plants, herbals, everything. And this is how the Day of Indigenous People started world over. And UNO also stepped into
Thank,
it that UNO will celebrate it. That is how the World Indigenous Day has come about. Thank you.
thank, thank you, sir. Uh, th- Thank you for giving it good information. And the second question, sir, how we can compare the problems of the indigenous people in India with other countries? Is there any difference? What are the root causes for these differences? Well, sir.
Um, that you know that in India we call these tribals or Adivasis, but not indigenous peoples. Uh, and one thing has which very much gone against in India, uh, that the right to education and the right to the resources was not extended to them uh, by the ruling caste in India, which should have done. Um, but fortunately, in other countries where you take other continents like South America, North America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, a right to education was given to them, and also that uh, taught them about their history, about their dignity, about their identity, their culture, traditions, and their language, all things. And this was denied in India. It was only Ambedkar came to Britain, America for education. Obviously, while he was studying in Columbia University, he must have met a lot of students coming from indigenous peoples, from black peoples background. So he has vast knowledge of how America has used their resources and have given them very little. So that is where he made up his mind. Then, if I will have the knowledge one day and be given the right to do something for these peoples, I will do that. So when he was given a chance to frame the Constitution of India, we know that there was a lot of opposition for him to come to the Constitution Assembly, but uh, he came from West Bengal. They made every possible means not to allow him to come to the Constitution Assembly because they didn't wanted him uh, to be part and parcel of the power. But he came to the Constitution Assembly. Then he was elected as a drafting chairperson of the Assembly, and that was the occasion, that was the opportunity which he forced on the ruling caste, or Swarn caste, whatever you want to call them, or general caste, whatever you wanted to call them. Uh, and then he used all his expertise, all his knowledge he gained all through the his abroad study. And when it came to the tribals, to whom we call it today Janjatis, he gave them a very, very special rights in the Constitution of India under the, I think, Suchi Panch or Chai, which is in 342. I'm not expert on the Constitution, but uh, now the uh, clause 5 says in that wherever the indigenous peoples are more than 50%, they has a right to govern and administration to their land and their people themselves, and there should be no interference from the center. Uh,
Yes, sir.
and this was the right was conferred on them, but unfortunately, uh, the history or the educations, the background of the whole Indian conflict was not brought up to be educate them who are these tribals and where they come from, why they remain in the jungle, and why they remain uneducated. This was never. It wasn't like America where the education right was given. That even the Britishers wrote their history themselves and taught them, which gave them the awareness that what is happening to us. But that didn't happen in India. In India, this was all hidden from them, or unfortunately, instead of giving them the rights, they was given the false history, false identity, false, and drove them like animals. That you are Hindus and Hindus and Hindus. That all this, uh, you know, conspiracy started, and that is what we see today. Instead of the native Indians, uh, claiming for their land or having the rightful of their land, and all the resources, mines, waters, everything, they are nowhere. Instead of they are called, calling them Adivasi, they are called now Banwasi. They're called now Tankbadis. A lot of army force is used to snatch up all their sansadans, or whatever you call resources. The Suchi 6 was that where they are more than 60, 70, 80%, they will have to develop their own governing, and they will have to develop their own system, which will not be governed by the central government. Central government has nothing to do with that. They will be on their own, um, administrator, governor, and everything will be controlled by them. But that also didn't come about. One reason I think, I feel, which is that those people was never educated that these are your rights, so they can exercise it. Um, those people was never told, this land belongs to them and you are the masters of it. Instead of a lot of false plannings and false information was um, given to them, and their proper rights was denied. This is the difference between the indigenous peoples in India and the indigenous peoples of the world.
Sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, and the third question, sir, what is the difference between indigenous people and tribal people? Indigenous people means only tribal people or any other sector that comes under indigenous group? Sir, please explain, sir.
If you ask me, whatever I have learned from Bamchef and their strategies, or their ideology, that when we was first talking, we was talking about 15%, 85%. This comparison, that 85% peoples are uh, no one group, and 15% peoples are one group. And then that slowly it changed into that they are Aryans who invaded us, and we are the local peoples. And then that is where the this Mool Nivasi concept came from. Then it was developed that Mool Nivasi means we are the Mool Nivasi. So if I would call indigenous people, 85% people, those who we call indigenous, are peoples of indigenous India. Indigenous peoples are 85%. But if that is the ruling caste, propagate that, accept that, then obviously they will lose the right to rule us. They will lose the right to uh, keep us backward, keep us illiterate, keep us helpless, voiceless. All these problems which they are creating for us today, if they accept that Indians, Mool Nivasis are the indigenous peoples and they are 85%, that's where the whole problem will start. In the other countries, I'm not sure, I'm not going to play with the figures. In the other countries, there is no doubt they must have killed many when the conflict took place. But now, at present, I see many Red Indians uh, American indigenous peoples in South America, peoples in Canada are coming up to the front line and participating in politics and occupying many uh, powerful jobs, powerful places, powerful positions, so they can uh, help their peoples to come up more about the awareness. This is not happening in India. So, in my view, the tribals are not only the indigenous people. The whole 85% peoples are the indigenous people. It is difficult for us to establish that, but that is the truth. That is why uh, the whole the conflict or the whole discrimination or the prejudice you see in the Indian society is indications that 15% peoples who are equipped with all the resources, knowledge, power, they are denying 85%, not for the right to education, right to resources, right to jobs, right to economy, right to the good health. All these are denied because that they realize 15% people know their history. They know what is truth. They know what is they're doing. But our people, 85%, do not know what is their right, who they are. Neither people leave themselves alone. You tell me how many people are educating the Indians at large, that they are 85% are the indigenous peoples of India, and they have the right to the land, they had the right to the resources, right to the water, air, everything. Nobody. It is only the bomb chef uh, I have seen which are bringing out a subject like this and propagating it. This is, but I think the difference. So we should not be content with only the tribals, 7 or 8%. We should be uh, understanding that 85% peoples are the indigenous peoples of India.
Thank you, sir. And the final question, sir. What is the necessity to bring the unity among all indigenous groups of people in India? And what are the rights they have lost? And how they can achieve their rights for better living in India? This is the question, sir.
I missed your question because I think it was an internet problem.
Sir,
Still, I'm not able to hear your questions.
uh, Behel sir, can I repeat my
Yeah,
question? Uh, what is the necessity to bring the unity among all the indigenous group of people in India? What are the rights they have lost, and how they can achieve their rights for better living in India? This is the question, sir.
uh, now this is a very big questions. Uh, One thing I think why we couldn't do it, because we are not part and parcel of a movement. Baba Sahib Ambedkar put up a big fight, made a very big sacrifices, even for his own life and for his family, and brought us all the rights. But we got all these rights in the Constitution of India without any struggle, without any making sacrifice, or without even a drop of blood. That's why we didn't respect it. Uh, if we would have fought for the rights like the blacks of America have fought for their rights, or indigenous peoples of America fought for their rights, we could have easily join hands and try to share the positions, try to share the resources, try to come up with the bigger force, and could have defeated these 15% people. Merely saying that 15% people are controlling us is not good enough. So all those peoples who run many organizations, hundreds and hundred thousand and organizations for the name of the welfare of our 85% people, uh, should think about is and they must set their priority that our first priority is to the people's 85% people of our country, rather than one position for me or one good economical rise for me, and think about the whole society at large and try to work and make some sacrifices like Babasaheb Ambedkar, Jyotirao Phule, Sumitrima Phule, even Manavar Kanshiramji, and then I think is the only way we could regain, because without joining hands, without coming together, without uniting our intellect, our resources, our even numerical force which we have, power we have, uh, which we can exercise through the board and bring a big change. Uh, Unless we do that, I feel it is very, very difficult to keep beating. One thing which I think which is a very big problem which is standing in our way is the caste identity. Caste is kept us dividing and subdividing and subdividing, and it's getting bigger and bigger problem. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote a very large amount of his literature on the caste and caste problems. But unfortunately, my peoples have a very little understanding of the caste. That's why they keep beating the caste drums, which is not helping us to unite. Rather, it's keeping us apart. And if we can unite, we can fight for our rights. And if we can fight for our rights, we can have a proportion of our population rights for us. At present, I hardly see any rights for these 85% peoples, and whatever education we have earlier even is denied now. Whatever voting facilities we have, the votes are now manipulated in the media, mafia, and lot of hooks and crooks way. So I only see one solution to it, that all those peoples who are working for the welfare of these 85% people, whichever organization they are running, whichever organization they are situated, whether they are in Pondicherry or they are in Jammu and Kashmir or they are Gujarat or Assam, they must come together and hold together, and their unity will be the only way we can regain our rights, and we can protect our constitution and our all the heritage we should be uh, claiming as indigenous people. Thank you.
Thank you, Bahal sir. And you have given an elaborate information for getting rights in India. And you have excellently narrated about the need of unity among all the indigenous people of India. And sir, no, please come. Please, what is your concluding message on this topic? Please conclude with your concluding remarks within 2 or 3 minutes.
My concluding message for every Indian is that even for these ruling caste, which are playing a lot of tricks and conspiracy with the indigenous people, if they look at the world and how the world has progressed and how the world has developed, it is uh, with the contribution of all kinds of people. Even you look at America, the 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, those people who has no right in America was given right. And those people has today played a very big role in America, making America a super economy of the world. All the blacks are controlling very big senators, president, even all big forces in the police also. Uh, and also they are controlling all the sports and all the entertainment industry. They are controlling all the big post in the senators. Uh, so and the judges. So if the peoples of India, who 15% who are denying these 85%, look into the 85% people and use their talent to develop the country and make India a better economy for every Indian, and also make India a better place for everybody to live in. And I think this will be very very good, because you look when I look I'm in UK. When I look in UK, uh, four or five peoples from the Mool, from Indian origin, are almost controlling the political power of the whole UK. And even today, they are competing to become the prime minister of UK. So these sort of things, if if we are given the opportunity to exercise our rights, given the opportunity to educate our people, many uh, good people will evolve from us, which will contribute to make India a great country, and it will be good for 85% people, and it will be good for 15% people. They can live in harmony and happily ever after. This is my concluding message. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your concluding remarks, the global
Jai
perspective.
Jai
And
Bhim.
today's program is a live program, and it was recorded, sir. And I request all the viewers to watch this program in YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And this program is available, and you can watch it anytime. And please share this program to your friends and well wishers, and to all the educated persons. And what are the discussions held today? Very important discussions and very good message received from Ms. Bahal sir. And thank you, sir, on behalf of the MNT News Network, and on behalf of all our viewers. We are extending our sincere thanks. Thank you for coming to MNT News Network, sir. Jai Bhim, Jai Bhim, sir.
Jai Bhim, Namo Buddhaya, Jai Bhim, Jai Savidan. Or I'm very happy that MNTV has invited me, and though I'm not a historian, I'm not a educated in this field, sociology or anthropology. But whatever I have learned, I have explained it how I see the problem of my people and how we can solve it. Thank you very much. Thanks very much again.
Thank you, sir. We will meet again, sir. Uh,
Thank
and
we will.
And thank you for watching this program. And tomorrow there is another program that will be in Hindi. The topic is Vishwa Mool Nivasi Divas. मूल निवासियों का सतिक्तकरण just uh, Sashiktaran. Okay. And you can read the Hindi also. And tomorrow we are inviting Mulnivasi Ranjit Baske and Mulnivasi Hanif Bhai Isle. So you can watch tomorrow's program in Hindi. From Monday to Saturday, you can watch the program in Hindi. And on Sunday, a special program for especially South Indians and English listening people. So you can watch and share this program. And you please watch our MNT News Network regularly. and please subscribe in MNT News Network, and please extend your cooperation and helping hand for strengthening the movement and strengthening the MNT News Network in India. Thank you. Jai Bhim, Jai Milwasi, Jai Bharat, Jai Samvidhan.